choosing a law firm, in your packs is a list of questions that you should ask any law firm, including mine, when you ring to see if you can select one. But very briefly, I mentioned before a language that you understand. You guys are paying for this advice. If it's turning up, if it's arriving in Latin or Greek, tell them to fix it, and if they can't fix it, get rid of them, even if it's us. Just get someone that you can understand. You're paying for this and the stakes are too high. When you ring to talk about fees, most of the transactions that we're talking about here should be able to be done at a fixed price. But make sure that you find out what's in that. There are now conveyancing factories in Queensland. There are 5 compulsory, I won't say compulsory, there are 5 searches that really need to be done for you to make sure that your job's being done properly. Factories do 3 of them and they try and scunge the other 2 off the seller. And you don't pay any less for that, they just keep that. Make sure that you ask, what do I get for that? What searches do you do for me? Which ones are extra? When you charge me an outlay is what lawyers call, is the legalese word for we have to pay money to the local authority to get this information. So if we do a search fee with the Sunshine Coast Regional Council, they'll charge us for that. We add that onto your bill, and some law firms will add that and a margin onto your bill. What is it? Is it disclosed? How much is it? So they tell you that they'll do the job for threepence halfpenny, but every time they get a search, they'll add $100 to the search, which is a hidden professional fee. Just make sure that you know. Ask those questions. But ultimately, probably the most important question, before I come to the most important question, things like extensions. Extensions are incredibly common now, mostly because financiers are understaffed and undertrained and they can't get their act together fast enough. So the lawyers are ready, the banks aren't. That's quite common. Every Westpac document comes from Adelaide for the whole of Australia. They want 30 days to produce a 1-page withdrawal of mortgage. So it may not even be your financier. You might have a great financier, good relationship, they're doing everything that's possible, but the seller's lawyer can't get their act together. And so everybody's ready, but you can't release the old mortgage off the property in order to get yours on. So it's not always your people, but if you choose the right people, they know the deadlines, they know which financiers are trouble, they will go and actually work for you to get this thing over the line on time, and they won't charge you for the first couple of extensions. Ask, is there a charge for extensions? Because odds are, particularly if you're trying to get the property cheap by having short time frames, you might need an extension or 2. Do you have to pay for them? So just make sure you know what you're getting. Encumbrances and easements, I mentioned them before, they're supposed to be disclosed on the document. Make sure that if there is an easement disclosed on the document, you get a copy of the wording of it, because it might turn out to be nothing, but there's an opportunity for you to belt the seller and get a few bucks off. Unauthorised improvements. This is the typical downstairs enclosed to form what's rather cutely called a rumpus room in some cases, because a rumpus room fits the definition of non-habitable space under the Building Act. So the Building Code of Australia, they call it this week. So unauthorised improvements used to allow you out of a contract, but not anymore unless, as I say, you alert your financier to it and the financier decides they don't like the building. If you go and do an inspection and you can do this, even if you're my height, and touch the ceiling, unless that's bathroom, laundry or hallway, then that does not have approval. Habitable space has to be 2,400 millimetres high. Most of them will be 21 and will be between 21 and 24, because it means they don't have to excavate or put the taller post in if it's an older building. That's not necessarily the end of the world for you, because remember, when you sell, you don't have to disclose that either. But it's an opportunity for you to say to the agent, hey, there's a problem with this building and I'm not sure I can pay your price for it. I'll still buy it, but not at that price. So just be aware of that. You can do a building records search with the local authority and it will tell you what approvals have been given for the building. They're not as common now because you don't have an automatic right to get out. But if in your inspections you see something in the building you think, I don't know if that's original, might be worth getting the search. Check what searches your solicitor actually does. And what we do, and it's not as common as you would think, is we'll actually publish you a list, and we'll do the mandatory ones in the list, and they're already ticked and the prices are already disclosed, and then you have a list of others. So you've seen the property and we haven't. There is no point in doing a railway search for a property in Buderim. But you've seen the property, you have some idea of what might be a problem, and you get the opportunity then, because you're paying the freight with us, to tick the boxes and say, yeah, I really want those two because I'm just a little bit concerned about them. Remember, this process that you're in is a series of chain links, and you want to make sure that each chain's good. Otherwise, you'll wind up having to retrace your steps, fix that before you can go on.